It is the 100th anniversary of the Indy 500 race, and joining us now from Indianapolis is the guy who's got his finger on the pulse of the racetrack, certainly. IndyCar CEO Randy Bernard joining us now. Hi, Randy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good today, and certainly looks a little bit wet behind you, but I'm sure things will dry out. At least I hope things, for your sake, dry out by this weekend. So
yeah, let's hope so.
Yeah.
We're expecting that 75-degree Sunday. That's all I care about right now. All
right, fingers crossed for that. At any rate, it's the 100th anniversary. Clearly, it's a huge year for you guys. But let's talk about the present. Let's talk about the business. Where does IndyCar stand today? How healthy is the business right now?
Well, the IndyCar has made some great momentum in the last 18 months. I think that one of the biggest moves that we had was when Izod bought the presenting rights or the title rights and became Izod IndyCar Series. And then I think the other things that have made our sport very strong lately is we've signed 12 new sponsors in the past 12 months. So we've been able to see a promotional spend go from $34 million in 2009 to $104 million last year. So I think we're seeing great progress, and we just need to keep it going. And the fact that Chevy, Lotus, and Honda will all be competing in the series next year is adding a lot of excitement and momentum to our series right now as well.
Sure, manufacturers from 3 different continents there. One person I would like to talk about is likely a star that gets perennially a lot of buzz around this time of year. Of course, Danica Patrick, denying speculation that she's going to be leaving IndyCar full-time to drive for NASCAR full-time. Have you guys reached out to her? Are you concerned about Danica leaving?
Well, I think the world of Danica, and yes, I have reached out to Danica. We went to lunch about a month and a half ago, and I think the thing that with Danica is that financial consideration is a very important element of her long-term vision, and which it should be, and exposure. And I think that I'm there to tell her that she needs to do what's in the best interest of her. I'll be supportive whichever way, but you can be rest assured that I am out there, asking her to stay here at IndyCar. But I also want to say that I think it's as important that we get in front of GoDaddy. I think that GoDaddy has done a remarkable job of building her into what she is today. Without those Super Bowl ads, without that brand exposure that they've helped create her identity. And I think that's essential to her and the sport. So I sure hope that GoDaddy stays as well.
And what is your pitch to them, essentially? How are you selling them on the future of IndyCar?
Well, I think it's imperative that we talk about the future in the way of what we're trying to do. We want to be all about speed, innovation, technology, and we want to make sure that there's a green element. And with the new cars coming in next year, and the fact that we are going to be very competitive and highly entertaining, it has I think that any sponsor is going to want to be a part of us, especially if we can deliver a return on investment on the amount of money they are going to spend and promote the sport.
Financially, do you think you can make the numbers make sense for Danica to stay? You said that financial considerations were something that she was concerned about.
Yeah, I think that a lot of that has to be with the Andretti team, Michael Andretti and his team, and I think that and GoDaddy I'm sure has a play in that as well. But that's a great question. I can be very supportive, and we want to keep her as a superstar here in IndyCar, but it will come down to really what other sponsors and teams offer her in the future.
I want to talk big picture. Television is often something that fuels so much of the business of really any big league, and IndyCar has a historic relationship with ABC. How optimistic are you that's going to continue after this year, and are you confident that you'll get more of a lucrative deal from them?
Well, I'm 100% confident we'll have it in 2012 because we have one more year left on our contract. But we are in an exclusive negotiating period right now with ABC through the end of June on a new term after 2012. We have a great relationship with them, but I am confident there's other networks out there that are interested in the sport, and it's my job to make sure that we're looking out for what's in the best interest. And saying that, this event right here, the Indy 500, has been on ABC for a consecutive consecutive 46 years, which I think the only event longer than that is the Masters on CBS. So I think that, there's a lot of history here, and I want to make sure that we give everyone the opportunity to give us the best deal possible.
And of course, NBC Sports is going through a number of changes right now. Dick Ebersol, certainly an iconic producer, announcing that he was leaving that network. And just this week, Ken Shanzer announcing his retirement as well. As someone who is dealing with the network, with NBC Comcast, and certainly with Versus, how do you feel like, what, in essence, what I'm asking is, what's your takeaway as someone who is who has the television rights and who deals on the business side? Are you looking forward to dealing more with the Comcast side?
Yeah, I've had a great relationship with Comcast for many years, being back with the professional bull riders and with Versus, and now us having 12 races on Versus. I have the utmost respect for Dick Ebersol and Ken Shanzer, and I wish them the very best in whatever their next endeavor will be, which I'm sure they both will do something. I don't see either one of them retiring. But I'm also very optimistic and look forward to working with Mark Lazarus. It meant a lot to me that he sent me an email the day that Mr. Ebersol announced that he'd be leaving and wants to discuss some of our, just visit with me about Versus, and I think that's important. And I am 100% sure that the best thing that could have happened to Versus is Comcast buying 51% of NBC.
And why is that? Why is it such a positive?
Well, I mean, it will allow a major network to be able to use their network to help promote other events on Versus, and it will allow them to hopefully be able to bring stronger content to both networks and build the 75 million viewership that Versus currently has. The universe.
Right, and finally here, as someone who how do you foresee, in essence, promoting IndyCar across different platforms? Have you already thought about ideas?
Yeah, definitely. I think that the most important thing that we can do with IndyCar is promote us to our definition, and we're defined as the fastest, most versatile race car and race car drivers in the world. We're 40 miles an hour faster than NASCAR. We're the fact that we race ovals and F1 doesn't allows us to differentiate ourselves in a way that when we go to an oval track that we're going to see a 70% crossover with NASCAR. But when we go to a street race, we're going to see a much more urban, much more younger international demographic, which allows us to reach such a stronger, broad demographic range that I think it plays into our long-term vision very well.
Great. And just wrapping up, Randy, where are you going to be this weekend watching the race? I've always been curious. Are you actually in the pits or where?
I am everywhere. Not very much in the pits. I get in the way down there. But I like to sit in turn 2, turn 4. I'll stop by and see some sponsors. I love sitting up with the fans. I think that's one of the best things in the world. One of the first things I heard when I came here was that IndyCar was a champagne crowd and that NASCAR was a beer drinking crowd. And after sitting in turn 2 and turn 4, there was a heck of a lot more beer drinking crowd here than there ever was champagne crowd. And I love spending time with all of them.
Well, I like to split the difference, and I usually go for the champagne of beers if I drink anything. But anyway, thanks so much, Randy. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Randy Bernard, CEO of IndyCar, joining us live from Indianapolis. Thanks, Randy.
Bye-bye.
Great.